Well, hello, my little space puppies. This is Sahara, and I have something really kind of hopeful. If you, like me, it's October uh, 2017, and we're looking at the world from our little tiny view here in this spinning mud ball in space. And things look a little scary for us with the Earth changes, politics, the the threats we're surrounded by them: earthquakes, hurricanes, fires, um, volcanoes. It's like lightning and thunder, and then she went under, which is very upsetting for anybody. And I thought I'd look at the United States chart a little bit. You're going to find it a lot of fun, and actually I really expected the planet of doom to be headed right towards Earth or something really scary, but it didn't turn out that way, and I'll show you what I mean. So I bring you to the momentous date of 1776, July 4th to be exact, 241 years ago. And boy, has it been a trip, and we're still a new country. Let's look at the early beginnings. One reason you don't have astrologers referring to the nation's chart is nobody really has the time. We all know the date, and the thing is, our founding fathers were very well educated in the mystical arts. They were Masons, Rosicrucians, and they knew astrology, especially our dear Ben Franklin. But they knew these things, and they were well schooled in these things. So they picked a time. How did our country get to be so great? They knew to pick a special time. Now, the interesting thing is, not every country gets to start like that. Uh, I've looked at the beginning of one country, the USSR, and they declared the USSR through a revolution in, I believe it was, 1917. You'll have to excuse me, but I actually did up a whole chart like that, and I could see that the USSR was not going to last too long. But so they had a beginning chart. Not everybody does. Um, so having an actual birth time for a new country is a treat. But the thing is, our founding fathers didn't leave the time for us. We know they studied these things extensively. Rosicrucians, Masons, this was their bag, and so they knew these things. They were very well educated in everything. Mysticism. You look at the symbolism with our country. It's just the flags, the documents, and so this is, but the astrologers cannot agree on a time. This is the time I've always liked. It's not the most popular time, with a Gemini rising, Mars in Aquarius. That's kind of, I'm sorry, Gemini, and that's a very talkative, active fellow, and you're having to apply things that you normally apply to people into a larger group, a country. I believe that Ben Franklin and his friends picked out, they made sure that things were in the second house. Um, they probably signed this around 2:15 in the morning, a.m., and they probably waited. They probably waited for the first person to sign. And you look at this chart, it makes so much sense. We have been such a success as a country. Um, when we move on to the second house, Venus, they would have put Venus, the planet of bounty, um, and Cancer. They loved their country and they wanted to be a country with great bounty, good fortune. Jupiter said you're going to be the wealthiest kid on the block. And we've looked at some charts of some famous people, and the people that really made a lot of money and were successful had very busy second house charts. Even Wayne Dyer, he was an orphan. How did he die? How did he end up? Pretty good financially. He didn't have to worry about a thing. And that's because he had things in the second house. Oprah Winfrey started off poor, no family, the whole 9 yards of she didn't have a chance. She had things in the second house. Now look at her. So here we have the sun. They probably were very thoughtful in choosing the Cancer, bountiful, and interested in the home. You know, the home is Cancer, and this is your home country. So they thought about these things. And the one thing is that they didn't have a good view of the outer planets. They didn't have the observatories like we do, but they did have other ways to track things. What really surprised me and would surprise most astrologers is Mercury was retrograde. That's just amazing to me. But there's some good fortune in this chart coming up for the next couple of years. Then that's all the further we can see. But you'll see in this chart, I wanted you to see the way they viewed it. Because in this chart, the outer planets, the big heavy duty planets that they couldn't see, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, they couldn't see them with the naked eye. They could see Jupiter, and they had a bare glimpse of Saturn and a very good understanding of what Saturn meant. So let's move on to so we have a country of bounty. The personality of, if this were a person's chart, you would look up to the moon right on the 10th house cusp. You're going to be a success. You're going to be out before the world. You're going to be a world leader with the moon there. This is not just your country, but this is you stand out. And we're protective of other countries. You see, the moon is protective, and they watch over their flock. Where's our flock? Everybody else. So we have that, and it's also in Aquarius. So we have that that quality to really care about. We don't get too isolationist in this country, thank God. Except for now, we're getting that way. But and the makers of the Declaration of Independence really wanted to make things add up nicely, so they made it trying to the moon and Mars, or else Mars would not have been good in the first house. But this has extra power in the first house. It's very strong. So you're going to be a martial leader in many ways. Money, bounty, fruitfulness. A protector of the world. Let's move on, and let's look at some of the things coming up. Well, my camera just got foggy. I don't know why. Oh dear, our filming might be over. The camera just got foggy, and I don't know why. I can only show you a few things now, and I'll have to resume this later on, because it is exciting for the things that are coming up for us And the foggy camera, I don't know what it could be. Um, so I'm supposed to know these things looking up at the sky all the time. The only thing good coming up here in this chart is Jupiter is in the sixth house of our health. So I think we're going to get our big battles over and done with the health battles. But I will have to return to you at a later time once I figure out what has gone wrong with my camera. I perhaps should look up at the sky. Anytime you want to have directions, look up. But this is such an exciting chart. Come back, look at transits and progressions for the upcoming years, because it's not quite as doomy and gloomy as it appears to be, as just a little mortal on this earth looking up, looking at the earth, the politics, the people threatening each other with nuclear bombs, and you know, it's it's just not a happy thing, and we have a very unpopular president, and will there be extra turmoil because of that? Um, so, you've gotten a little look at the chart of the United States and why we've been so lucky, but believe it or not, our luck is still in place. It didn't seem that way with the bad hurricanes, the terrible earthquakes. There, a volcano on Bali is about to erupt. Terrible floods in India. Ocean waters warming up. Glaciers melting. Um, Basically, we've we've we're doing everything we can to destroy our beautiful planet. This is our only Earth home. So, but to my surprise, there's some good things coming up. And so I'll be back to you later when I get my camera fixed. Oh, please subscribe. I forget all the time to ask for this. The only way I get paid is if you subscribe, and you'll see it down here and with the little cat icon. If you press it, it meows, and it says subscribe. Press it and like it. So the more you press those little buttons, it's like being a little mouse. You could just press those buttons and good things will come out. And if you get any new YouTubes mixed in with my astrology charts, I'm also doing cat videos, and I'm having a blast doing them. Little entertainment treats for our furry friends. But once in a while, people will be looking at the astrological charts and they see cat and mouse games, which I really like. But I can't be serious all the time. There are good things coming up for us all. So I bid you adieu.